And following the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, everyday life in the islands changed dramatically. In tonight's Stories of Hawaii, Jonathan Masaki takes a look at how the military took control of the then U.S. territory and the lasting effects that continue today on one specific island.
Prior to December 7, 1941, life on the island of Kahoolawe was peaceful, with a very small human footprint, but a whole lot of livestock.
Historically, there was goats that were let loose on the island, and several thousand goats at one time. Sheep ranching, also thousands of sheep on the island, and then cattle ranching.
Then Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, and life as we know it in Hawaii changed forever.
Well, so the day after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, martial law was declared over Hawaii. And so all of the lands that were under the territory now, are controlled by the Navy.
All living creatures were then removed from Kahoolawe. The Navy then began to use the island for bombing practice with the expectation it would be returned after the war ended. That didn't happen.
But then in 1953, President Eisenhower, through an executive order, turned control of the island over to the U.S. Navy, and they continued to use the island for live fire ordnance until our movement, led by the Protect Kahoolawe Ohana.
The movement to protect Kahoolawe began on January 6, 1976. That's when 9 members of the Ohana landed on the island to protest the continued desecration of what the Kanaka considered sacred land. Their grassroots efforts statewide eventually led President George H.W. Bush to sign an order to stop bombing Kahoolawe in 1990.
So the challenges of restoring the island are tremendous, and could take several generations to really heal the island and restore it.
Although the original intent of the U.S. military was to totally return Kahoolawe back to its pre-bombing state, the U.S. Congress later mandated a 10-year cleanup of the island from 1994 to 2004. The Navy claims that 75% of the island has been cleared of surface explosives and 9 to 10% of subsurface ordnance has been cleared.
So it's a big lesson in looking at, when you consider, military use of the land, how can you ever begin to repair the damage that was done?
The Protect Kahoolawe Ohana notes the restoration of the island has been slow and there are many challenges ahead. Still, they remain focused on healing the Aina by educating the masses about Kahoolawe.
Well, we take people to the island with us, and they come and we're able to practice our culture on the island. And as we say, begin to heal our soul as a people through the cultural practices that we can do on Kahoolawe, and that then people take home to their own islands.
McGregor also wants Kahoolawe to be known as the sacred home of Kanaloa, the Hawaiian god of the ocean and marine life, and not the target isle as what the island has become known as in recent years.
The island of Kahoolawe is a body form of Kanaloa himself, and this is where the navigators were trained historically, and they were brought there to the island to learn the currents, the winds, but to observe the stars and the constellations that will enable them to wayfind across the Pacific.
Slowly but surely, the restoration of Kahoolawe continues, and as McGregor puts it, what's going on there really is the kuleana of everyone who lives in Hawaii.
Everybody living in Hawaii has a kuleana to take care of our land and our resources.
And that's the target the Protect Kahoolawe Ohana wants everyone to aim for, no matter what island you live on. Jonathan Masaki, Hawaii News Now.